Many people who work struggle to elevate their language from operational, transactional to more strategic, making it harder to land more senior strategic and leadership roles. Using the right words can completely shift the way you are perceived, especially when it comes to job interviews, when we need to position ourselves as someone who can think and operate at a senior strategic level. Using a different set of vocabulary can help you position yourself as someone who can think strategically, who can demonstrate high level of thinking, someone who can problem solve and influence business decisions and business outcomes. By the end of this video, you will absolutely build your own strategic vocabulary. I will explain what they all mean and give you some practical examples you can start using straight away. Let's break them down into 4 key areas: planning and execution, strategic thinking and problem solving, implementation and continuous improvement, tools and resources. Let's go through all of them. Let's go through planning and execution section. These words can demonstrate your structured thinking and proactive leadership. Let's start from a simple word called plan. A plan is a structured approach to achieving an outcome. For example, I have pulled together a people plan that aligns HR initiatives with business goals. Action plan is the next word. For example, action plans are a detailed set of steps to achieve a specific objectives. So you can say, I developed an employee engagement action plan to improve morale and retention. Roadmap is another word you can start using straight away. Roadmap is a high-level guide that outlines key milestones and steps to achieve a goal. For example, I created a roadmap of digital transformation over the next 12 months. Framework is also one of my favorite words, which means a structured model or set of principles that guide decision-making. For example, you can say, I developed a performance management framework to ensure consistent leadership practices. Methodology is another word that's really good to use. Methodology is a systematic approach or set of methods used to solve a problem. So for example, you can say, I implemented a strategic workforce planning methodology to forecast talent needs. If you're watching this video and you find yourself in a very transactional operational role and you may be thinking, actually, I'm not in a position to say I created a people plan or I created a framework, I created a methodology. For reassurance purposes, you can actually say something along the lines of, I helped deliver certain sections of the people plan or the relevant action plan. I helped deliver and execute the agreed framework or the agreed methodology, which ultimately means you've assisted, you helped, but you need to use certain terminology to demonstrate you understand what it is. And also, if there is an opportunity for you to develop one, you will at least know how to do it because you have seen it in practice. Let's go through the next section, which is all about strategic thinking and problem solving. These words showcase your ability to think long-term, solve complex challenges, and influence leadership. Let's start with the word vision. This is a common word, but vision means a clear long-term direction for an organization or a function. So for example, I shaped the vision for our future talent strategy to ensure business growth. The next word is the strategy itself. So the word strategy means a high-level plan designed to achieve a competitive advantage. So for example, I developed a workforce strategy that aligned with business expansion goals. Business case is one of my favorite words as well to use in this section. A business case is a document that justifies an investment or a decision by outlining benefits, risks, and costs that you would pull together and present to the leadership team for a decision to be made. For example, I built a business case to secure funding for an HR technology upgrade. The next word is proposal. This word is actually really great to use for any level. A proposal is just a formal recommendation for a course of action. For example, I contributed to a proposal for restructuring our leadership development program. The next word is recommendations. So recommendations, when you're making recommendations, they're just advice or solutions based on some analysis you performed and insights you are privy to. So for example, I made a strategic recommendation to improve workforce agility and succession planning. If you find yourself in more junior roles or delivery operational type roles, you can say how you made some recommendations on how to improve a process, or how you've improved or made some recommendations as to how they could improve certain policies and procedures and things like that. Let's proceed with implementation and continuous improvement section. So these words reflect your ability to drive change, measure success, and improve overall efficiency. Let's start with pilot and trial. These are the 2 words I have used extensively in my roles. Basically, they mean a small-scale test of a new initiative before full implementation. This works really well if you're working with these anxious, nervous business leaders who really are not often keen to test some of the new ideas. And you can always say how you propose a trial or a pilot of a new initiative for, let's say, 3 months, which helped you understand what would work, what wouldn't work before something would become a permanent change or a permanent process going forward. So, for example, you may say, I piloted a hybrid working model to gather employee feedback before company-wide rollout. The next word is governance. Governance means a system of rules and processes that ensure accountability and consistency. Most organizations have some sort of governance setups. So, for example, you can say how you established a governance for performance management to improve leadership accountability. The next word is operating model. So this is all about the structure and the process that define an organization functions. For example, you can say, I designed an operating model that streamlined HR processes across multiple business units. The next word is ecosystem. So this is a network of interconnected systems, people, or processes that work together. So, for example, you may say, I created an ecosystem to support cross-functional collaboration and knowledge sharing. And the final word in this section is optimization. So this is all about the process of making something as effective and efficient as possible. Example would be, I optimized our recruitment process to reduce time to hire by 30%. And the final section is all about tools and resources. So these words position you as a leader who builds sustainable solutions. Let's start with my favorite phrase, building blocks. Building blocks mean the essential components required to develop a larger system or function. For example, I established the building blocks for a high-performing HR function, including data-driven decision-making. The next one would be metrics and insights. So metrics and insights are data points that measure performance and inform strategic decisions. For example, I introduced key metrics to track leadership effectiveness and employee engagement. The next one is value proposition. This is the unique value an initiative, function, or organization delivers. For example, I articulated the value proposition of our employer brand to attract top talent. The next word is also one of my favorites. I use it very often in my videos, which is tools or toolkits. So these are a set of resources designed to help leaders or employees execute tasks effectively. For example, I developed a talent management toolkit to support managers in succession planning. And the final word, playbook. This is a documented set of best practice, workflows, or standard processes. For example, I created an HR business partner playbook to ensure consistency in strategic planning. These are the keywords I tend to use pretty much daily, weekly, monthly in my business meetings and team interactions. I tend to use them in quite versatile and transferable way. They are really for everyone to use regardless as to what level you operate at. If you're watching this video and you find yourself in a more junior transactional operational role and some of these words may potentially scare you, I would like to encourage you to explore using them, because even though perhaps you haven't created a framework or a methodology or a plan, you have helped with any delivery, rollout, or you assisted with something. So you also have the right to use these words and say something along the lines of, I helped deliver this people plan. I assisted with this particular delivery. I contributed to the development of this particular framework and methodology by taking part in business meetings, pulling together data, and helping the relevant senior HR professional or a business leader make a decision, and things like that. So anyone really can use these words. You just need to start using them and practicing, especially when it comes to job interviews. I also issue weekly newsletters, so if you want to stay in contact, I suggest you subscribe. You can find a link down below. And also I run the Expert HR Business Partner Academy, where you can sign up. It's a small monthly subscription. There are 2 live sessions every Saturday and Sunday. You can find a lot more information in the link down below. This channel is all about providing support to the HR business partners, HR professionals, knowledge workers, where I'm extensively talking about what we do in our roles, how we can do things slightly differently or better, as well as how we can work more efficiently and effectively in our roles.